on the
Hey, Jim.
Hi, Peyton.
Hey, Randy.
Folks, I'm going to stay on the down low unless you need me. I'm here in the background.
Okay.
Roger that.
Hey guys, this is Riley Wyndham. I'm on. Just letting you guys know.
Hey,
Who's that?
Y'all having a good day?
So far.
Getting cold in here.
Mm-hmm. Like I'm not seeing.
I have a doctor's appointment in the morning at 8:15 with Dr. McKinley. I'm gonna ask her about that vaccine.
I didn't remember if I'd already said that to Mark. I mean to Jim.
No.
Hey, Gary.
Jim,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I had been muted by the host.
They want to hear from you.
It's happened before.
Yeah. Let's see what commissioners are on. We got Gary, Gene, are you on?
Jim, Jean's on. Josh is
Okay.
coming on now.
Okay.
Jean's muted right now. I'll ask her to unmute.
Okay. Yeah, Josh and Gene are just on.
Here I am. Let's see. Can I get over here? Oh, there I am. Okay. We're trying to get set up here. Give me just a minute.
No problem.
I had another page. Here it is. I just want to print this. I'm here. Now where? There we go. No, I'm good. Thank you. All right, now.
Jones is coming on.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Tim, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, Tim.
Hey. Happy New Year to all of whom I have not talked with this year.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, it's right here. Let's see, there we go. Yes, please. Thank you.
Currently,
Oh,
we
yeah.
have 22 participants in the Zoom hearing.
22.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Gary.
Hello, Gene. How are you?
I'm good. Oh, okay. Now I can, okay, now I see how I do that.
But while we're waiting, Gary, welcome aboard.
Say what?
Was that you? Was that you, Tim?
It was, yes, it is.
Thank
did
you.
you
I look
say?
forward to working with you.
All right. Looking forward to it.
All right, I'm trying to find the, okay, here we go. I need to turn up my volume a little bit. Okay. Is Josh on here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, I see
Here.
him. All right. All right, what about Brian?
Brian is not here yet.
Okay. But he is going to chime in.
That he would not.
He is not?
I have not heard that. To my
Okay.
knowledge, he'll be on.
All right, so we got Tim and Gary and me and Josh. So all we're missing is Brian.
Shook is here as well.
Well, the Shook is here as an applicant.
Oh,
Yes.
all right.
Yes. But let me see something here just a minute. Okay, Ashok is not on the thing, so I think it would be nice to thank him for his service. Could we get him to turn his mic on at that time? Anybody helping me here?
Yeah, I've asked him to unmute.
Do I?
I've asked Shook to unmute.
Okay. All right, are we ready to get started? You want to go ahead without Brian? It's 1:34.
Yes, I think we should, Madam Chair. We can get going. And he can
Okay.
come in when he gets here.
Okay. All right, let me see. Okay, there he is. All right. Whoops. That's better. All right. We'll get started then. Good afternoon and welcome to the January 25th, 2021 meeting of the Macon-Bibb County Planning and Zoning Commission. As you are aware, this is a virtual meeting and we'll continue to do this for the foreseeable future anyway. Before we get started, we got a couple of things I want to do. And first of all is Ashok still in here? Ashok?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. I just want to thank you.
Being
The
back.
organization wants to thank you for your service for these past 5 years. And we thank you and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. The next thing I want to do is welcome Gary Bechtel. Where's Gary?
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
All right. We welcome you and thank you for willing to do this. Okay.
And
Now-
I want to thank Ashok as well for the service he gave to the community
Okay.
by serving for 5 years. Thank you, Ashok.
Thank you, Gary.
All right. Before we begin, we're going to need to approve the minutes from our previous meeting. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chairman, I move that the minute from the previous meeting be approved if written.
Okay.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve our minutes from our previous meeting on January the 11th. All in favor say aye.
It wasn't January 11th, it was December 14th.
It was December 14th, and
Oh,
who's
I'm
second?
sorry.
Josh
Okay.
did.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. All right. Let's see. I guess we are ready to start our agenda. I turn it over to Jim. Tell us if we have any changes in the agenda.
Okay. Before I do that, Jen, I don't believe we've elected officers this year, have we? This is our first meeting for this year since the last
No.
hearing was canceled.
Okay.
So we need to elect a chair and a vice chair.
Okay. Do I have any nominations?
I nominate
Madam-
Gene Easom
Amen.
as chair.
And
Second.
Brian Scott is previously serving as vice chair. I'd like to nominate Brian Scott as vice chair.
I
Okay.
second that as well.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve Gene Easom as chair and Brian Scott as vice chair. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Condolences.
All right. Jim?
Okay, today's agenda, we have quite a few changes, and a couple of them are last minute, so I'll go through those. We're going to hear actually 11 items today, so let me go through the items that we have recommended for ratification. Number 2 on Whitman Way, that's a variance. We've recommended ratification for that. As well as number 3, 230 Baconsfield Drive for a variance. 695 Riverside Drive, C of A, that's been moved to ratification. Number 6 on Arlington Place, a certificate of appropriateness, that has been moved to ratification. Item 7 on 804 Cherry Street, that's been deferred by the review board. So we won't hear that today. Item 8 on Lower Poplar Street, conditional use, that's been moved to ratification. Item number 9, 893 Riverside Drive, a C of A, that has been deferred by the design review board. They are on the agenda for number 10 for the conditional use, and we will hear that for that same address. Item 11 on Gray Highway, that's conditional use. That has been withdrawn by the staff. Let's see, number 12 on Chestnut Street, a C of A. That's been moved to ratification. Item 13 was scheduled for ratification. That was a C of A for a building demolition on Vineville. We had some folks that wanted to speak in opposition to that. So we've pulled that from ratification and we'll hear it today. And that's at 2462 Vineville Avenue. That's number 13 on the agenda. Number 19 on Calvin Drive, that's a conditional use. That item has been moved to ratification. And item 20 at 1990 Vineville Avenue, again, a C of A, that has been moved to ratification. And that is all the changes. We had a fair number of people sign up at the last minute to oppose a couple of items. So I think we've got them in the waiting room ready to go. That would be on number 13 and number 18 Houston Road. So I think everybody's here who wants to speak, as far as I know.
Okay.
Jim, I have a question.
Okay.
What about agenda item number 4, the boutique hotel?
Yeah, that's going to be heard.
It's not on the agenda that you put up. It's
Right, these are things. that
That's
are
on my
being
list to be
ratification
heard.
confirmed.
Yeah, what you're
Yeah.
seeing on the screen are just ratification items or things that have been moved off the agenda. So
okay, all right.
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Okay.
we will hear number 4 at 350 Second Street.
Okay.
Excuse me, I'm at 3073 Columbus Road. I don't know if I'm in the wrong room or not.
Are you
Dan?
an applicant or are you in opposition to something?
No, I'm an applicant.
For which item, sir?
3073 Columbus Road.
Yes.
It will be heard in a few minutes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, let's proceed with the first item, which would be number 1.
Number 1 is 100 Chalico Lane and other properties in that development. It's a conditional use to allow revisions to a previously approved architectural design with materials in a cluster development. R1 AAA District, Charlotte Booker is the applicant.
Okay. Is Ms. Booker?
Yes.
Miss Booker is here with us, and this is Cliff Niederpruem as well, accompanying Charlotte
All
as we
right,
look at this item here.
all right. Trying to find which screen you're on.
Randy, could you call up the proposed building designs? That's the key question here.
Okay,
And I need to swear them in.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
trying to send Brian the link. He's
Okay.
missing the link. Hold on a second.
Okay. So tell me again who was with Charlotte?
Cliff Niederpruem.
Okay.
Okay. I
But
emailed
since-
those to Mark to put in. I don't know if he did or not.
They're in. They're showing now on the screen.
Okay, yeah, that's the one that was approved before. Right? You have the house
These are
link
the-
that I
these
sent
are the
originally.
exist-
That's the second email. Okay.
Yeah, what we're seeing now is what has been built and approved in this development, and they want to change from what these are.
Yeah, I
But we
emailed
have-
those plans earlier.
Randy, the email came in. However, I responded, those files were corrupt.
I was gonna say, I hadn't gotten any of that.
Miss Doveton, we can send those over to you, Charlotte. Can you send those that are on the T drive?
Yes, I'll send them right now.
That you can send those out. If you can flip those over to Miss Doveton from the Tree Drive, we should be able to do that pretty
Yeah, you'll need to
quickly,
send them to
and those
Mark.
are-
You'll need to send them to
those
Mark's
are,
treasurer. I
kind
can't access the screen at the moment.
Okay, I'm sending them to who? To Mark?
I won't be able to show
Okay.
them.
Yeah, go ahead and give us that email.
The email address is mstrozier@mbpz.
Is that .org, .com,
.org.
.org? Okay, give me 1 minute. I'll send those right to you right now.
Make sure you send those make sure you send those over that Carter prepared for us.
I will.
Yeah, all of those.
Okay.
All right, I'm trying to figure out which one of these screens is for Charlotte and Cliff. I see it, but I don't. They're not.
These are correct. So what you're showing is correct. An overview of the site, where the site is located. That the first one's a satellite of the site, and then the second one's a recorded plat, and then or an overall site plan. And then there's the couple pages after that are just more close-up versions of that same final plat and site plan, just looking at the same thing a couple of different ways. You'll see that all that the shapes of the cul-de-sacs and streets and names are all the same. It's just a closer in view, give you more information.
Okay, let's get things in order here. Sheila, would you please be ready to swear Cliff and Charlotte in? I want to welcome you to the Macon-Bibb County Planning and Zoning meeting. You were directed to the Macon-Bibb County P&Z website for procedural guidelines, so we trust that you have reviewed those. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I will remind you that you have 10 minutes per side, not per person. So Sheila, if you will swear these two in, I'd appreciate it.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Charlotte?
I do. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
go ahead and you've told us a little bit about your project already. Is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, other than there are 53, subject lots in this part that are existing developed subdivision, the streets are in, the curbs are in, the right of ways, things of that nature. You saw the few homes that have been in here kind of all on their own for quite some time. Yeah, we're super excited about the location and continuing our partnership with Macon-Bibb, you folks, and providing good quality homes for folks that live in Macon-Bibb and your constituents. So yeah, this is 53 lots. We're planning on pricing in there in our lowest price point in the very high, kind of 190s platform, and then going up into the 230s and beyond in there. So I know that's usually a question in these meetings as well.
All right. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
Yeah, are we going to be able to see the proposed design changes?
Yeah, that's what I would, yes,
I
that's
think
what I
that's
was
what we're
asking.
waiting on right now. Is to see.
I just
Miss
sent them over.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we should be able to pull those up and look.
Madam
at
Chair, can I ask a question of the applicant?
Sure.
Cliff, could you explain the reason for the change in design?
Well, we're a different we're a different builder, and it's, you know, in some cases, I'd have to look up again when these were built, but usually, you know, 15 years later, in a case like this, we are not the original builder. We do not have copyright or license to those plans. You know, we have to devise and build our own plans, as well as you know, be profitable in our venture coming in here and building a community like this. So you know, we're always going to come in with our own plans, not, you know, pick up, you know, plans from many years ago from a builder that's probably no longer in business today to even give us those plans.
Okay, so the current homes in there are mostly brick and siding, and I assume there's brick and hardy board. Your proposed structures would be vinyl.
We were proposing vinyl with a you know, low brick accent, a brick wainscot. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you think that these new structures will appraise at the same level as the current ones?
I believe that the current ones having a little bit more features and having hardy, some other structures, some more reverse gables and gable end, would appraise, would hold.
Excuse me just a minute. Can we get the background? Somebody's own that's interrupting the,
I think I found him.
okay.
Mhm.
All right, go ahead, Cliff.
Yes, just to answer the question, I mean, I think that the homes up front having some more brick, having some water table accents, some more, you know, they would appraise for, you know, a little bit higher because of some of those additional features.
Jim, when were the first houses built out there?
Um,
Or can somebody tell me when the first
yeah, I
houses
don't have
were?
access to the report right now, right in front of me. Randy, could you address that?
2005, 2006 is when they were first built.
Yeah.
The development was approved in, the development was approved in 2005. And the final, I want to say maybe it was 2006, first part of 2007 when those were constructed. The final plat was recorded in 2007.
I'm looking at satellite imagery. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but there are only 3 units constructed out there. Is that
That's
right?
correct.
Correct. That's correct. Yes, sir.
And how much did you say these houses would most likely sell for?
We are planning on selling them from 195 to 230 and beyond.
And how many square feet do they have?
It varies. They're varying from, let me pull up this other sheet. Varying from 1,600 plus, let's go a little over 1,600 square foot on a nice, like, one level ranch plan. It's got a big footprint on it, but it's all on one level, up to you know, 2,700 square feet.
The the images are on the screen now.
Okay, all right.
They're essentially the same houses you approved for the Highlands, Quail Ridge, and Kingston.
That's correct.
And to me, it's almost exactly the same challenge. The units that were built with higher quality materials, but they haven't appreciated in value at all. So, you know, the values out there have sunk so low, you can't build new units with the same materials and do it profitably, which is a pretty terrible situation to be in, but I don't have a lot of better answers. Are these also, these new plans, are these slab on grade?
These are slab on grade, yes, and the lots out there.
Were the
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
previously constructed units were on crawl spaces, weren't they?
No, they
built.
seem
No,
to
I
all
think
be
they're
on.
on slabs on grade
They're
too.
slabs.
They're on
too.
slabs. I looked.
Okay.
All right. And I don't know if they had architectural shingles. Are you going to put architectural shingles on these, or are they just going to be standard?
There'll be three tab standard shingle.
And
And this is,
And
the
the-
first one is our smallest, ranch, as far as the front elevation, this is our, and you can see from the floor plan, this is our, ranch plan that's shown here. And this is, yep. And there might be another page, so this, the B elevation, when it's chosen, is a larger front porch that spans the width of the house. After the garage, you can see that on the top down view towards the left side there, yes.
okay,
So when that's chosen, it gets a bigger front porch, and
I really
sometimes-
wouldn't call this a porch. How deep is that porch?
it's, look at the, let me look at, look and tell you for sure. It's at least 4 feet. It's at least 4 feet. So on a slab, that's a plenty of space to put a couple rocking chairs on.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
No questions for
Well,
me.
some of the elevations are two-story, correct?
Yes, yes. So
That's what I was thinking, the ones that I have on
just
file.
one of those files. So she sent several. And
Yeah,
broke.
there were about 3 or 4 different styles, I think.
These are the only two items that were sent. If Ms. Booker, if you could send the other files, I'll.
Oh
I'll
yeah,
just let them.
I'll resend it. I sent the whole thing. Let's see, it didn't come through.
Just the 1603 PDF came through.
Okay. My apologies. Give me 1 second.
Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. You're right. Give me a moment to download that. I didn't see I didn't see those files. My
Oh,
apologies.
okay. I was gonna say I sent them all.
And there's a pretty extensive plan book here that we want people to be able to choose from.
Well, just like, where was that, Josh? The other subdivision that we ran into this with?
I was out at the Highlands, right?
Yeah.
And Quail
This
Ridge.
is,
Quail Ridge.
this is so different, this one-story thing here, to what's out there. If I was a homeowner out there, I'd be really distressed. But I
Well, let's
understand
take
the,
we'll take a look. I think Ms. Neeson, you'll see when we get some of the others on the screen, which will encompass most of these homes will be 2-story. And we do get a lot of folks, some empty nesters or people that just don't want the stairs, for whatever reason, that this can accommodate, that buyer, when they request it,
well, I can
so that's
certainly
why-
relate to that. But
that's why others.
they just look so plain compared to what's out there. And like we said, that we understand the time difference and the difference in builders. I was just wishing that you could do a little something more, I hate to say attractive than this, but, all right, anybody else got any questions? Huh?
I said,
What'd
you
you
just
say?
they look more compatible.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, yeah, when we see some of these others after, is it Mark? I'm sorry.
Yes.
We'll put those on the screen. It may fit a little better.
Okay, this is 1802. Let me get it spun around. Do you want to, as I'm pulling them up, do you want to discuss, or just you want me to pull them up as we go? Because each one of them is going to have to be rotated.
I don't know that we need to talk about each individual one unless I see something that, or one of the other commissioners sees something that they want to completely address.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, can you increase the size of the screen, Mark?
Sure, Tim, give me a moment.
And so these look, most of these that have a little bit more real estate to the front of them, we have some shake accents, some board and batten accents, some hip roof features like on that, porch there on the left side. You see the board and batten in the top gable and shake to go along with that brick accent across the front. So just that small ranch plan that's kind of narrow, short, and long. You have that look that Miss Eason was calling attention to, and I understand that there's not much canvas there to the front of that house in that situation, but that'll really be a very small percentage of the homes in here at the end of the day. That will just be for that specific buyer that is either sometimes disabled or just doesn't want the stairs or.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, gentlemen?
What I'm curious about you mentioned some accents. Are they all I mean, is the siding all the same color throughout the entire inventory?
No, sir. No, sir. We have several different color packages, upwards of 20 different, color packages. And we make sure they're not the same, from house to house. We make sure we don't have the same, house type and elevation next to each other as well. Regardless of the color. And then we make sure that the color is not the same either. So lots of color options and palettes, and we don't want that for ourselves either, to have that type of monotony.
Okay.
Not good for sales and business either.
Cliff, I have a question. This is Tim Jones.
Yes, sir.
Did you decide to go with Vanna rather than Harder Plank just because of the cost factor?
Yes, cost and maintenance as well. Sometimes you'll have folks object, believe it or not, object to it because of the maintenance factor. But like here, I like that elevation personally. With the board and batten.
All right, thank you.
How many square feet would that particular home that's on the screen now have in it?
This one is, let me see, that one's 2,000 square foot. I think it's a little over 2,000 square foot. That particular home. You can see the floor plan too, I believe, in here.
Or would you be building them custom to a buyer or speculative and then selling? What is the business model?
It's some of both. Today, though, I'll say that the market is such that, you know, if we start them, we'll almost certainly have buyers, you know, almost instantly. Right now, it's a you know, it's a great market right now.
And have you
Yeah,
started, excuse me,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, especially in these price points. I agree.
Right, and there's there's a lot of buyers, you know, local to Macon-Bibb that are needing of homes like this in this price point. Yes, sir. Miss Easom, did you say
Yes.
something?
No, I was just agreeing.
Mhm.
All right. Any other questions?
Is there any common amenities for these particular? Will there be an HOA? What is the?
Yes, there is an HOA in place, although right now it's, of course, with 3 homeowners, it's pretty severely underfunded. You know, this will help that situation as well. But there is an HOA in place. There aren't any particular amenities. Those that are familiar, though, with this location, it is adjacent to the Arrowhead Park. There, if you've been there, with boat ramps and docks and little places to hook up your travel trailers or fifth wheels. Is really nice, beautiful park there. I've seen people fishing there. It basically walk, you know, into the park from the front of this neighborhood. So there's kind of a built-in amenity there, I would say, for buyers in here. But there's no pool or cabana that's part of that initial plat map or anything like that that was planned for this community.
So what would the homeowners association pay for then? Or what would be its primary purpose?
Well, the entrance to the neighborhood and things like that. The enforcement of, you know, standards and, you know, folks keeping up their yards and property values and, you know, maintaining their homes and, you know, making sure nothing, you know, becomes in disrepair or isn't taken care of. I suppose it'd be a minimal cost, you know, without like the large items like a pool or things like that to take care of.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Anybody? Do we have any opposition to this, Jim? Randy?
No, no one signed up in opposition.
All right. Gentlemen, if there's no further discussion, then we'll need a recommendation and a motion.
Madam
Anybody?
Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve revisions to a previously approved architectural design and materials within a cluster development in an R1 AAA district at 100 Shalako Lane and abutting Dreamcatcher Drive, Cheyenne Way, and Shalako Lane.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
All right. We have a motion and a second to approve the changes to at 100 Shalako Lane in a R1 AAA district. All in favor say aye. All opposed? So carried. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is number 4. That's 350 2nd Street, conditional use to allow boutique hotel in the CBD1 district. Bob Brown with BTBB Architects is the applicant.
I heard him on there when he said something.
Hey, Jim, actually, this is Will Stanford with BTBB. I'm going to be speaking on behalf of Bob today, who actually was one of the lucky ones to get in line for a COVID shot today. And it happened right now. So
Outstanding.
Very good.
So
All
thank
right,
you.
as soon as I find my Zoom camera here again.
I also want to mention, Madam Chair, that I'll be abstaining from this action item. My employer owns half of this project.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know which one this is. That won't work. Okay, Sheila, you want to swear him in?
Yes, I'm ready. Are you ready, Mr. Stanford?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Will, tell us about the project.
All right. Thank you. This is at location 350 2nd Street. It's on the corner of 2nd Street and Mulberry Street Lane, which is an alley. The owner's proposal is to develop 9 Airbnb units in this building and a small bar that is a public bar. And the building will undergo review for historic tax credits from State Historic Preservation Office and from National Park Service, and that's in progress. In reading the staff report, I saw that there were some concerns about parking. Is that the main issue that I need to focus my time on, or what? Just the whole project?
We need to go through the whole project.
Okay.
And then you can address the parking issue.
Sure. Okay. So one thing that we wanted to clarify was that the Airbnb model does not require any full-time employees. It will be done all through an app or access control system into the front door, into the gate that will be installed in the alley and into each room. So that will be done through a smartphone, or something similar to that device. So the ability to staff this is fairly low. The only person who would be, I'm hearing some feedback on my end. Are y'all hearing it?
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm going to keep going.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. The only quote staff people would be the cleaning personnel who would clean the rooms between visitors, and we'll get into the parking in a second. But the bar will be open to the public. Pretty small footprint. Our code research says there will be less than 30 persons in the bar, and about 20 or less on a small rooftop deck that's created off of the back end of the building, which is for the bar use as well. Exterior stairs to that will be created through some areas in the building right there that are being rehabbed from an existing structure. So any questions about the Airbnb itself before we move on to parking?
I was looking at the floor plan, and now I guess maybe I didn't read far enough, but the fact that it's going to be operated off of an app rather than an on-site person, does this have any security other than whatever you get from electronic devices?
I imagine that access control system, I believe this is what Bob told me. Josh, you could maybe jump in too, is also ties into the intrusion alarm system, and any closers could be magnetically controlled and interfaced with that system. So it'll all sort of come turnkey
Okay.
with the hardware system.
And how many rooms do you have?
There are 9.
9 rooms. Okay.
4 upstairs and 5 downstairs.
Okay. The elevator that was originally in this building, is that being reused?
I believe that is not being utilized.
So it's just going to be a walk up?
That's correct. We do have one accessible unit on the ground floor, and that obviously will not need any elevator.
Okay.
That's
I
right.
have a question about the rooftop bar. You said the occupancy level would be 30, the maximum 30?
Really more like 20 on the rooftop deck. So what we did was we pulled that back from the perimeter so that, you don't have the ability to fall off that roof. And it also helps to screen from the balconies of a couple of the units that are on the back side of the building. So about 20 is the maximum occupancy we anticipate.
And it will be open to the general public?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Will, how big are the rooms?
So let me see, I probably can zoom in better on my plans here.
Does this help, Will?
Oh, yeah, sure. That's great.
Just
So you're roughly 14 in the bedroom itself, 14.6 by, it's almost square. So about 14 by 14, somewhere in there. With a pretty sizable, restroom.
Yeah, so about 360 square feet total.
Yeah. And they're all the
345.
same, they're all the same style, so to speak.
They are the same style. They're, because we're working in the existing building, we're working to walls that are already configured in a certain way limits the configuration being mirrored, but they are very similar.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The outside, what are you doing to the exterior?
So the exterior, by and large, is brick, except for the front facade, which we are having to change an opening to readdress where the existing door goes into an open office situation. It was a law office before this. Now we're having to put the door in the center that realigns with the historic stair. And so we're going back to that. That's arrangement. We're going to make the new opening with cementitious products, a hardy board products, and then and repair any ephes or stucco that's already there.
Okay. Okay, now address your parking issues.
Okay. So in the staff report, it mentioned that there was not any of the parking was addressed for the units. I'm still getting some feedback.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'll fight through it. The owner of this property also owns a parking garage that's located at 525 Mulberry Street Lane, which is right down the alley, and 9 spaces will be allocated for these rooms for the use of the occupants, as well as when the cleaning staff is there will not be a person in that space, designated space, so that they would park in that designated space for the room they're cleaning, or rooms at the time.
Gene, please unmute. I accidentally muted you.
That's all right. I got it. Okay. Does anyone else have any more questions? That would be, let's see. I don't know who's here. No questions?
No
Commissioner,
questions for me.
Commissioners, I've muted you, so if you'll double check your unmute if you have questions or concerns.
No questions for me.
All right,
None
Brian's
for
got
me.
no questions. Will, Gary,
No.
Tim?
I don't have a question. I just got a comment. In the past, we had a lot of problems with residents that lived in the downtown area and bars and the noise, from live events.
Yes, sir.
Is that a concern for you all?
We don't know the specific hours of operation of this bar yet. The management has not set that up, but I can't imagine that the occupant load that would be there would be something that would be an issue. You're just not talking about that many people.
Well, where's the closest residential units? I know the corner there has at
Above the former Greek Corner Deli has.
yeah.
Yes.
So,
There's residents there. That's a pretty good ways away. Unless you had live music, I don't think you would have a problem. And you're not asking for live music. You're just asking for serving drinks. Is that right?
that's great.
The other thing is Moonhanger Group is our partner on this project, and he
Yes.
owns almost the rest of the block. So he owns from the Capitol Theater all the way through this building.
Okay.
So, and he'll be the operator for the bar as well.
Okay.
So he'll be both the generator of the noise and the operator of the hotel rooms. So that normally
Okay.
tends to bring things into balance.
Okay. I agree with that. Okay. Any other discussion? If not, I need a motion.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the conditional use at 350 2nd Street to allow a boutique hotel in CDB 1 district.
Second.
All right, we have a motion. We have a motion and a second to approve a conditional use for a boutique hotel in a CBD 1 district at 350 2nd Street. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, so carried. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Will.
All right.
Thank you, Will.
Okay, the next item is all the way down to number 10. That's 893 Riverside Drive with conditional use to allow a convenience store with fuel and alcohol package to go in the CBD 2 district. Ratkamur Amin is the applicant.
Yes, this is Brady Clapp with JW Shuttlesworth. I'll be speaking on behalf of the owners today.
All right, tell us about your project, and I'm very anxious to hear it because I want something done there.
We need to swear him in first.
Oh, thank you, Sheila.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, you may proceed.
All right, is he the only, are you the only one speaking today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
So they're proposing to do a 3,675 square foot convenience store there on the corner with brick or stone and stucco on the outside. On the inside, have your normal coolers, beer cave, all your, all the stuff that goes into a convenience store, snacks and all that good stuff, and have some restrooms inside. So,
do we have a site plan here?
Yeah.
Can you show that
Yeah.
to me? Okay.
Right there. Yeah.
All right, the one before that showed, yeah, they were going to build something here several years ago, and they got started and things happened. And it appeared to me that this wall back here that adjoins the Burger King property was failing. And I'm assuming that all that will be taken care of.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and point out the dumpsters and the tanks.
The dumpster is going to be at the bottom side of your screen, closest to Riverside Drive, and then your tanks. If I'm not mistaken, your tanks are going to be right here, kind of in front of the dumpster area.
Okay, and this this dark area on the corner here,
Yes, ma'am.
what is that?
It shows asphalt, and I'm assuming that's going to be for the turning lane and into the site.
Well, it's not on the right of way.
Mark, could you zoom in so we can read the,
Yeah, please.
yeah. It looks like it's just asphalt patch, basically.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I wanted to make sure it wasn't some kind of concrete barrier.
No, ma'am. It's just the asphalt because the parking lot's already
Okay, I
there.
see it. Yeah.
I'm assuming it just needs a patch there.
Okay. Well, I look at this thing every day, so let's see here. All right, so you will. Does this say? I'm looking for the access points. Right now, there's very limited access onto this site. And so
there's an access point off of Riverside Drive.
is that right here?
Yes, ma'am. It's right in front of the right in front of the tank farm.
Okay.
And then there's access from Spring Street as well.
Okay.
And none of that is changing from what it is now, correct?
Okay.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Gentlemen, any questions?
No questions for me.
Okay.
None for me,
Josh?
Gene. I'm like you. I'm happy that something's being done.
Me too.
Yes.
I'd like to see it reused.
Yes.
It's time for something to happen on that corner.
Absolutely. Okay. If there's no further questions, Jim, you got anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I need a motion.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve a conditional use at 893 Riverside Drive to allow a convenience store with fuel and alcohol package to go in a CBD2 district.
Second.
Oh,
All right. Brian has seconded. So we have a motion and a second to approve the conditional use for a convenience store with fuel and alcohol package to go in a CBD2 district at 893 Riverside Drive. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
How soon can you start work on that?
As soon as possible.
Yes, hurry. All right.
Okay, let's see. Next item is number 13. That's 2462 Vineville Avenue. A certificate of appropriateness to allow demolition of a structure and design approval of a new parking lot in a historic commercial district. Lars Anderson is the applicant. And we've got some opposition or some concerned
Right.
citizens on this one. Yeah.
Okay. Laura's on there.
I should be.
Oh, I see you now. Okay.
All right. Good afternoon to everyone.
All right. Let me get Sheila to swear you in.
All right.
Mr. Anderson, do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, thank you. You may proceed.
All right, Lawrence, tell us about your project.
This concerns a project on the tax maps listed collectively as 2462 Vineville. It's a series of 3, and I use the phrase boxes. The oldest being 2476 by our numbering system, which is the Peacock building where we renovated 2012, and it's working well. There's the middle unit, which is 2462 proper. And then there's the one on the end, which over the years has been marked as 2456 or 2452, depending on the postman or the addressee. It's that box marked as 2452 or 56, which I'm asking permission to take down. I'm in a bit of a Hobbesian choice on this because, most of you know I live and work within 2 blocks of an area right here, and it pains me to take down a building. However, I would like to redo the middle structure in the immediate future, but to do that, I don't have the parking by law or really by practice to do either the middle structure or the end structure. As it is, I have 5 parking spaces, which is the space in between 2456 and Ron Lemon's building. So we only have 5 spaces right now, which accommodates the law office. But to do any further renovations, I believe by law, I'm not going to be able to do anymore because I don't have any parking. And also my neighbors don't want me putting parked cars into their neighborhood. So for the step 1 of the project, we're asking for permission to take down 2456. That will give us ample room to widen, in other words, put the parking lot across 2456, and by pushing it back to give us about 11 or 12 spaces there. So conceptually, that's the project right there.
Okay. All right. Any questions, gentlemen?
I would just like to add that your design review board reviewed this project last Monday and had lengthy discussion about it and eventually approved his proposal. They left the landscaping to staff basically, and so it came to you as ratification, but since Monday we had some inquiries into this from some neighbors, so that's why we moved it back on to be heard.
All right. How long have you owned these buildings?
I think I first purchased them back in 2002 or 2003. The plan was to renovate them then. However, and this may happen to some of you, you have an investment with some family members and they effectively lose their shirt. I was unable to go forward with it until we did the renovation in 2011 with Al Gerhardt. It took most of 2011 and we opened February of 2012.
Okay, and has there been any tenants in the 2 vacant buildings since you've owned it?
Yeah, can you repeat the question? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Have you had any tenants in the other 2 buildings, the 2456 and the 2462, since you have owned it?
2462 was initially a sound studio. And when I bought it, we had a problem with the ceiling failing, and that was the direct result of the sound studio putting concrete block and sand throughout the interior, causing the floor to sag and pulling the roof down. So we had to ask them to remove themselves, and we removed the sand and the concrete block. So the middle structure really is very, very rough, and there's not been a tenant there. 2456 initially had a tenant named Frank Barrow, who retired as the clerk for the municipal court. He briefly had an accounting practice in there, but that closed. So effectively, there's been nobody in those 2 units for more than 10 years, ma'am, by my guess. But I think Mr. Barrow was only in there for a matter of months. The sound studio, I know, was a matter of months because structurally it was compromising the building.
Okay.
Lars,
Go ahead,
Excuse
Gary.
me.
No, go
Lars,
ahead.
what's the condition of 2456, that building?
2456, the front half was prior to Mr. Barrow, Martin Snow had a closing office in there. And they redid probably the front portion of the building. There is a wall at about the midpoint, Gary, and nothing was done behind there. Unfortunately, the roof is starting to cave in the back. And I do have significant water damage on the floor and in the roof. But nothing was done there at the time when Martin Snow took it over. And when Mr. Barrow was in there, it was with the provision that he was not to go past that midpoint wall.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that was what I was asking, Gary. Okay. Any other questions, gentlemen? Jim, you got anything?
Ma'am.
Okay, then we'll listen to the opposition. Lars, just give us a few minutes.
Okay.
All right, who is our first opposition?
I believe Shannon Bickling.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, hang on, let me find you.
So this, I think about 17%, that's 17% of.
I can't hear her.
Hey, Jean, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Are you the 1340? I'm just trying to find you on my thing here.
Jean, she's Shannon Guest. I'm not sure if she's showing up on your on
Yeah,
your
she's
window.
not showing up. Okay, go ahead, Shannon.
All right, so first of all, I'll tell you who I'm representing. I've consulted with and been designated to represent the Bible Neighborhood Association, also the adjacent property owners, who are Jan and Robbie Beeland, and Historic Macon Foundation. So we are, first of all, to clarify, we are not opposing the demolition of the building that Lars wants to demolish. We're fine with that. What we're asking for is a landscape plan and civil engineering plan that will demonstrate three things to us. First of all, that the increased water that will be generated by the runoff from this new parking lot is dealt with in a manner that takes that water away from the properties behind those buildings, which are owned, the ones on Oak Haven there, that little U-shaped area that faces towards Oak Haven is owned by Jan and Robbie Beeland. And then they also own the property behind the building that as far back as the building that will be torn down. So we want to make sure that water is dealt with, and we'd like to see that in the civil engineering drawings. And then another thing we're very concerned about, particularly timing wise, is the streetscape design that separates this new parking from Vineville Avenue. So right now, this segment of Vineville Avenue has been listed by the Georgia Trust for Historic Preservation as a place in peril. And it's the, they're from Pinona down to Buckingham. There are a number of vacant homes and homes for sale. And many of those homes have been vacant for quite a while now. Some of them are in various states of disrepair. And so the Georgia Trust is helping us to market some of these properties, and the Bible Neighborhood Association, along with Historic Macon Foundation, is working throughout this year to come up with ways to fund and improve the streetscape along here. And one area that we have identified as an area for improvement is the parking lot between Bible Baptist Church and Vineville Avenue, which is right up at the corner with Pinona. So there's a nice grass strip there. We plan to work with the church to identify some funding and do some nice design work to improve upon the streetscape there, to provide shade to the sidewalk area, to really get some screening of all that sea of parking from Vineville to recreate that nice urban edge there that existed before houses were torn down. So there's a lot of effort across the state and within the city of Macon to work on this part of the corridor right now. So what we'd like for Lars to do is to provide some landscaping buffer between his new parking lot and Vineville Avenue. And we would love to see a landscape plan, and we'll be happy to assist in the creation of that plan if necessary. We don't, we appreciate what Lars has done with the improvement on the corner right there. That building is great. He's a wonderful neighbor. And we just want him to take the next step in the best manner possible for him, for his budget, and for our neighborhood.
Okay, thank you, Shannon. Is there anyone else to speak?
I don't think so, but Randy, do you have anybody else?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Shannon.
Thanks, Jean.
Do you have any questions, gentlemen, for Shannon before she?
No questions for Shannon, but what did the design review board say?
The design review board approved it.
Okay.
And left it up to the staff, didn't they, Jim?
They did, and some of the things that Shannon is asking about will have to be done in due course, such as the civil and the drainage. And we know there'll be, in fact, we talked about the need for a retaining wall on the back and how the drainage is going to be handled. And we also discussed the need for landscaping on the front against the right-of-way on Vineville. And so the board pretty much left it to staff to work out all those details as we normally do. We would expect that Lars would do an approved drawing that would address all those issues that would come back to staff for review.
Okay.
I'd love to point out a couple of details on the plan now that you've focused on it. There are at least 3 parking spaces there that don't work for parking. So if you're looking at the plan on the right-hand side closest to Vineville Avenue, there's no way to get into that first place without if there are other cars parked there. There's no way to park there coming in off of Vineville or off of Buckingham. So that's a great place for a tree to be planted. And as you can see in the original drawing there was a tree shown there instead of that parking space. Also in the back, those last 2 spaces, there's no way to get out of those spaces because the backup area is not deep enough. So we would ask that he remove those 3 spaces and replace those with greenery. And then the third thing we'd like to ask is there does have to be a retaining wall there at the back of that parking lot, but there will be property beyond there. And once this building is taken down, then the apartments that faced Oak Haven are exposed to more light pollution, a lot more noise pollution from Vineville Avenue. And so the owners of those would like to see trees planted beyond the parking lot, between their apartment block and this new parking lot, to help buffer some of the sound and light pollution that will be, shining right into those apartments now.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Sounds like to me that you approve of the basic plan of allowing him to raise this building so that he can get more parking.
Yes.
So I think that, okay, that's all I need right now. So thank you very much. All right, commissioners, let's go back to Lars. Lars, do you have anything on rebuttal?
Yeah, a couple of items, Madam Chairman. First and foremost, I think I've worked very well with my neighbors in the past. I am surprised that V&A has raised an opposition. We just announced, I let V&A know at a board meeting not a week ago about this, and I didn't know the board had retained a representative, so I'm quite surprised that Ms. Fickton represents V&A. As for the Beelans, their property is uphill from mine. We certainly do need to address the water, and will with civil engineering, but I'm sure Mr. Beelan is very well aware that his property lies above, mine lies below in terms of a contour, but we certainly will respect that. The one space that Ms. Fickling identified, that is going to be used exactly for the planting strip and the landscape, which will work with staff to make that work. To the rear, I'd like to remind, if this property already has a green strip, a wall of trees back there that along the property line. I would rather not remove 2 spaces to add a tree, because as you can see on the map, the property that the Beelans own barely goes past the second structure. We are not adding any lighting to this. This is going to be a parking lot. We are closed by 6 p.m., 6:30 each evening. There's not going to be a significant amount of additional sound or light there. So I'd rather not lose spaces to the rear to plant 2 more trees, considering we really have an attractive green wall back there. So those items there, we certainly do want to make something. Now, this does raise an issue. For example, at 2370 Vineville is interim health care. And I ride by that every day. And I've really been very disturbed that apparently I understand the pressure for me to put in a landscape barrier. Interim health care has a 4-foot barrier with no planting, and there's an asphalt driveway there. And apparently that was approved in the last 3 or 4 months. So I apologize for not meeting the concerns, but when I look at my neighborhood and I make the right-hand turn off of Rogers every morning and I go half a block to my office, on the left at the old Church of Christ property, we have a planting strip with no bushes, no shrubs, just well-cut grass. So I want to continue to work with my neighbors. I live here, I work here. It truly does affect the value of the project I'm doing. I don't believe we're going to have any profound effect on the neighbors. If we do need to add a tree, I can place a tree behind the existing building back there, but I'd rather it be placed there than inside the retaining wall. I don't want to compromise the retaining wall with trees, but there is space back there if staff decides that that's necessary.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, gentlemen, I need a motion, or I need some discussion.
Jim, just to clarify, the permits won't actually be issued until staff signs off on engineered drawings for the installation of this and not just hand sketches. Is that correct? Even if we approve it?
That's right.
All right.
Lars, let me, if I can ask you to clarify something. The apartments behind the parking lot you're proposing are downgrade from you or upgrade from you?
They are upgrade from where I am. In other words, from Oak Haven down to Buckingham is a significant downward slope. So the property that faces Oak Haven, which are the Beeland apartments, they obviously follow that slope. In fact, there's to the back, they have underground garage parking space or storage spaces back underneath there. Moreover, those storage spaces, if you look on the tax map, they do not go past the second unit of, which is the one labeled 262. So while we are requesting permission to take down 2456, I do not believe that's going to expose those apartments at all. But then, as you can see from where the property line is, I have room to plant trees back there and yet not put it inside of the retaining wall. I think we have a structural problem if we start planting trees inside of that retaining wall. But I do have room outside if behind in that rear area, if the staff wants a buffer.
But in terms of the water flow, the civil engineering plan should be able to bring that toward the storm drain that exists along Vineville. Is that correct?
Yes, there's that there, and of course they just added a new storm drain process in the parking lot that Mr. Lemon and I share. So yes, there are numerous outlets. That water's going to go forward, not backwards. Okay. When I say forward, I mean towards Vineville Avenue. It's
towards Vineville.
Yes.
Madam Chair, there's one thing I would like to add, that the code requires there be some kind of buffer between a parking area and adjacent residential, and that's the case we have here. So it's not only what you could require as a commission, but also the code requires some visual buffer between the adjoining property and the parking lot. So if the commission has specific concerns about trees, location of trees and landscaping, we need to know that now.
Okay. Would it be possible, gentlemen, that we would approve the raising of the building, and once that is done and the plans, civil plans are done and the landscaping plans are done, these have to be brought back to staff for approval?
I'm comfortable with that. I think that generally conforms to the design review board's recommendations, and also to the I think it. I mean, if I understand correctly, I think that properly covers all the neighbors' concerns as well.
Okay. All right.
Gina, I have one quick question, if I could.
Okay.
So just to understand the process, will the neighborhood association be given any sort of heads up about the final design and additional ability to comment on that, or will it just go straight to staff and then be approved there?
Well, normally with what we just said, it would go to staff and they would make the final decision. If someone's got a recommendation, commissioners, on allowing, whether we should allow the neighborhood or Shannon representing them to at least review this, I would be open to that.
Madam Chairperson, just listening, it seems like there's not a problem with the demolition, but the aesthetics and the landscaping, this kind of thing. Would it be possible for Shannon and Laura and staff to sit down and come to a agreement on what the landscaping should look like? Could we make that part of the requirement?
I hate to put staff in the position where they've got to satisfy both the property owner and the neighborhood association, right?
Right. Could I offer? Let me offer this. I think what I would recommend is that, like you say, if the demo is not the problem, we can go ahead and issue that separately. But the parking lot, the revisions, the civil, the landscaping, that should come back to the commission in review. Now, in the interim, if the applicant and the neighborhood association and the adjoining property owners get together and work out a resolution to their concerns, then we can always ratify it, and in that sense. So, but it needs to come back to the commission, since you've got some concerns from adjoining property owners.
Jim, can you restate that as a motion?
Yeah, that we approve the demolition of the structure under a separate permit, and then the final plans for the parking lot, including the civil and the landscaping, would come back to the commission for additional review. And of course, staff would look at ratification if those details are worked out between the applicant and the adjoining property owners.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the demolition with the civil engineering and landscaping plans to come back before the commission.
Who's the second?
I did, Gary.
Gary? All right, and that is at, what's the street address?
2462
2462.
Okay, yeah, I see it now. 2462 Vineville Avenue. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. All right, thank you very much.
Madam Chair, before we go, just so I can clarify from my notes, if I understand, we've talked about adjacent homeowners, but if I understand it, it's Vineville neighborhood and Mr. and Mrs. Beelan. Is that correct? That where my concerns lie?
Shannon, do you agree with that?
Yes, I'm on the board at Bible Neighborhood Association now, and they have, agreed that I would be a good communicator of this. I'm very happy to work with Lars and on the design, and the Beelans, I think, would also like to be involved. And
I just need to know which property owners I had to deal with. Thank you.
Okay, I think probably the most efficient way would be just to deal with Shannon, and if she needs to deal with various components of her clientele, then she can do that.
Well, I'm asking to make sure because I'm a member of the board of VNA too. And to my knowledge, this hasn't come before the board, but I want it on the record who she represents, because obviously we've all sworn to tell the truth. So that's what I need to know. But I thank all of you so very much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have we concluded everything in that item?
I think so.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, next item would be number 14, 3073 Columbus Roads, conditional use to allow used auto sales and auto detailing in a C2 district. Tevis Pool with Drive Style LLC is the applicant.
Hello?
All right, Mr. Poole.
Hey.
Okay, we need to get you sworn in. Sheila?
Mr. Poole, do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right.
You may proceed.
All right, if you will tell us about your project, please, sir.
Okay, I'm a auto dealer. I have a partner in Jonesboro. I'm from Macon. The building has been in my family since 1984, I believe, or 85. But I was moving a dealership, trying to start up a dealership down in this area, and I want to do some work around the area to make it look a little better. It's kind of going down. Trying to pick it back up.
Who's been operating the car lot there?
It's no car lot there. I have a car there, but it's
Okay,
just one car there.
okay, and you're wanting to,
Start up a dealership, park like maybe 5 to 7 cars out. And also back in 2005, I believe it was, I put in the tank for the water separation of the chemicals. And I also wanted to do a little detailing on the side from time to time. Not much, but just from time to time.
Okay, so as I understand it, you want to improve the property, you want to sell a few cars, you want to do some detailing on those cars, not as a detail shop.
No, as a detail shop, if I have a customer, I don't plan on it being a full-time deal, but from time to time, if it comes
Okay,
about.
well, I just need to make sure what you're asking for.
But
All right.
Previously I had it as a detail shop. I haven't been operating since 2008, I believe, or 2009. I leased it out for a couple of years, but that's been it.
All right. All right, gentlemen, do you have any questions?
If he does doesn't he have to have like a separate type of plan for like wastewater? Is the property already kind of like prepare for that?
Yes, that's what I was saying. I had
Yeah,
put in 2005. I had it as a detail shop previously.
Okay.
All right, any other questions?
I think the staff report limited the amount of inventory, quote unquote, that could be on the lot at any one time as 7 automobiles. Are you able to maintain the type of dealership that you want with that limited inventory, Mr. Poole?
Yes, I'm not a big dealer. I'm starting off. I started off about a year ago in Jonesboro, so I'm kind of small right now.
Okay, so you've got a carport. You still got that carport on the front?
Yes, that's for I have to have that because of the septic tank and
Okay.
to separate the chemicals that needed for the detail. So I have to have that anyway.
Okay.
To cover up the tank. The tank is up under the carport.
Okay, okay.
I have a question, Mr. Poole. Matter of fact, I have two. One, you say 7 cars. Now you understand that you will not be able to park in the inventory on the right of way.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And the second, in the photo, I see a tractor trailer park. Is that on your property or that's another property?
That's another
I think
property.
that's another property,
Yeah.
Jim.
Okay. Okay. That's my question. Thank you.
Yeah, that's another property. So I can get 6 across the front and I still have room for others.
Only one.
How do you?
I still have
how do
room
you act?
on the side for 2. Not
Is
on the
this
side
a-
with the carport, but on the right side.
Well, I'm just going off the staff report with the maximum inventory being 7.
Your property line looks like it falls somewhere between your building and where that tractor trailer unit is.
Yeah, it goes over towards, or right about there, about halfway between the tractor trailers.
All right,
Yeah,
now,
right there.
do you have, I don't see a driveway for you. So you come into your property from the little side street there. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, the driveway is about halfway of
Right there.
to the right. The driveway is about halfway, yeah.
So that's a shared driveway between you and your neighbor
Yes.
next door?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anybody got any more questions?
Nope.
Anybody in opposition, Jim, Randy?
I don't think so. No, ma'am. Randy, you have anybody?
All right. Then if there are no more questions and no more discussion and nobody to speak, then do I have a motion?
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the application for 3073 Columbus Road, which is conditional use to allow used auto sales and auto detailing in a C2 district, with special attention made to the staff report that would limit the inventory that the gentleman can maintain on that lot.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve a conditional use for an auto sales and auto detailing business at 3073 Columbus Road with limitations on the number of vehicles on the site at any one time. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. Thank you, Mr. Poole.
Thank you.
Hey, I have a question. My question is with the seven, this is Mrs. Poole, this is Terrence Poole's wife.
Okay, you haven't been sworn in.
Can you ask?
Well, I can ask.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Ask if the 7 cars, is that not considering your cars, your personal cars?
Is the 7 cars, that's just for inventory, right?
Right, but even though they're entitled in your name, it's 7 cars maximum. Now, you can, of course, have your own car that you drive there.
Yes. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Next.
Next item is number 154977 Mount Pleasant Church Road. This is a conditional use to allow a convenience store with fuel sales and alcohol package to go in a PDE district. Ashok Patel is the applicant.
Mr. Patel?
You hear me?
There you are.
All
Get
right.
closer. All right, tell us about your project.
Do I need to swear in?
Yes, thank you. Sheila?
Hey, do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
All right, now tell us about your project.
All right. This is existing building. It's about 6,000 square feet. It's office building. And we are converting that to the C-store. Previously, we asked for C-store / liquor store next door, but now we don't have a liquor store anymore. So we're just going to use as a retail space for future tenant.
Okay.
Any question?
That's what I'm supposed to say, Shook. All right. So this is not going to be anything but a convenience store
Yes.
and gasoline sales.
Yes.
And yeah, that was an office building. Okay. All right. Was there a site plan in this, Randy?
There is, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, anybody got any questions?
I don't.
All right, so we have one access point in and out.
Yes.
Is that right? Is the paving gonna stay just like it is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so we've got enough room to safely maneuver with a tanker truck through here and back out again?
Yes.
Okay. All right, any other questions, commissioners?
Shook, where would the fuel farm be? The tank farm?
It's a front where you see that 4 pumps.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, right there.
Right there, yes.
In the front there?
Yeah, right there where the cursor is.
Okay, so the tanker would be able to get in and.
Yes, he'll come in and circle back to the pump and get out.
Okay. And the entrance is, it appears to be wide enough to accommodate egress and ingress at the same time. Is that correct?
Yes, same owner owns the next door as well. So this property and the vacant land will be owned by same person.
Okay, so you own the other parcel as well?
My client.
Okay. Do y'all have easements that allow
Yes.
access? Okay. That's my question.
Okay.
And this right, Mark, you can probably, is this going to be where the dumpster is right here on the right-hand side of the
Dumpster
building?
is already there now, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, any other questions?
This Willie with Macon-Bibb Fire.
Hey, Willie.
How y'all doing? We may have a problem with those tanks sitting right there because when they refuel, you're gonna have cars running right there. That tanker truck's gonna be sitting right in front of where those cars will come in and out. So can you look at trying to relocate that to the side or on the far end, or either on the side by the dumpster or something like that?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay. Cause you see what I'm saying? 'Cause that tanker's gonna be right. That's gonna be the same situation we're having with all the Krogers and all the other stores, where they're gonna be right blocking traffic coming in and out when they refuel.
Yes, but usually it's gonna happen at nighttime, but I will relocate the.
That's not 100% guaranteed, so that's why we try not to even do it.
No, we'll work with you on that, Willie.
Okay, buddy. That's it.
All right, thank you, Willie. Do we have anyone else to speak?
Ma'am.
All right, any more questions, gentlemen? No further questions. I need a motion.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. We approve the conditional use for 4977 Mount Pleasant Church Road to allow a C-store with fuel sales and package to go in a PDE district.
Okay.
Second.
Who was the second? Was that Brian?
Brian and Josh.
Brian and Josh, okay. All right, we have a motion in 2 seconds to approve a conditional use to allow a C-store with fuel sales and alcohol package to go in a PDE district at 4977 Mount Pleasant Church Road, with the caveat that the property owner will look to relocate the fuel tanks to comply with the fire department. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried.
Thank you all.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Shug.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is number 16. It's 5129 Mercer University Drive. This is a conditional use to allow conceptual approval of a restaurant with a drive-through, self-storage facility, and platting of property prior to site plan approval, and a final site plan approval of a convenience store with fuel and alcohol package to go. This is in a PDE district, and the applicant is Brad Oppenheimer with Halpern Enterprises.
Hi, my name's Steve West. I'm with Halpern Enterprises. I have Brad is on here as well. And then we have our civil engineer, Eric, who is also available in case questions come up that are of more of an engineering nature.
All right, we're gonna ask, do we have all, can we make sure all three of them are unmuted, Mark? Mark?
Working on it now, Gene. Ask him to unmute now.
I'm unmuted.
Okay.
Okay, there's Brad, and there's
Well,
Steve.
Hey,
And
guys.
there's,
Eric,
got everybody?
Garcia-Salas.
Okay, all right, Sheila, will you swear these gentlemen in, please?
Do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Yes. I did.
Right. Okay.
Was Eric in there? He's
Yes, I
on.
was, ma'am.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to hear your yes.
Okay, we'll try to make this brief, but essentially what we had here is two separate parcels that are at the northeast corner of Mercer University Drive and I-475. We're contracted to purchase both parcels and combine them because neither parcel is quite large enough to accommodate our primary user. And that would be Quick Trip Corporation as a C-store operation. And so the idea here is to combine the two parcels, have two retail locations in the front, the Quick Trip and a quick service restaurant. And then in the back area on Tucker Valley Road to have a secondary use of storage. This is an area that's commercial in all directions around us. There's not a house anywhere close by. I think our plans here are pretty consistent with what you see in the area. Obviously, Quick Trip is a first-class operator and has great-looking locations. We've met with the staff preliminarily and discussed a lot of issues related to access and utilities and those kinds of things. I think that we've come up with a plan that addresses all of them, but we're open to any questions that you might have of us. We're happy to answer anything that we can.
Will there be any separation between the C-store and the self-storage back there? Like, will the self-storage be fenced in?
Yes, and there would be there's a driveway that separates the two properties that goes out to Tucker Valley that is not only there, but if you look at the cursor over to the right side, right there. Yeah, so there'll be a paved area access road that runs behind there. But one of the key things here is the three parcels will share a detention facility for stormwater that will carry the storm for all three sites.
Well, the thought process I have here is that people will take the shortest route, even though it might not be proposed for that. I was concerned with people from the C-store cutting across into the self-storage if it wasn't fenced off or something. I know this drive is supposed to be for everybody's use. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, all right.
And the self-storage is not yet put together. I mean, this is what we think will go there, but the Quick Trip is the primary project that we're putting forth today. The other two are for, I believe it was called conditional approval or preliminary approval. They'll have to be subject to the final approval later on.
All right.
Mark, could you possibly pull up the actual site plan and not the lighting plan?
I think it was the very first one.
First one, okay.
Or maybe.
There you go.
Okay.
I think it was
No, it's next one.
Next one.
Next one.
There you go.
The driveways appear a little more clearly on this one.
Yes.
Do you have a confirmed user for the restaurant site?
We don't. Unfortunately, we learned last night that we submitted some sort of stock elevations of a representative restaurant that happened to have Whataburger's name on the side of it, and that began to be reported. We have not made any agreements with Whataburger or anybody else. It was just to represent the type of user that would eventually go there.
Okay. I didn't see that, but I was just wondering if you have.
Our public relations group called us to ask us what was going on. So.
Okay. All right. Gentlemen, you have any questions for Mr. Oppenheimer? No, I mean, Mr. West.
Either.
Okay. What about Mr. Oppenheimer? Anybody got any questions for him?
Willie, are you okay with this?
There you go. Hey, quick question. Those tanks, is that open? Is that with the right here to the right? Is that where those tanks going? Or y'all
Yes, sir.
proposing to put them?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we got to have them come. I think we was in the pre-development, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think we had a discussion about those. You know, that's gonna be a concern of ours with them sitting right there. We need to try to put them somewhere on the sides. Try to relocate them on the side somewhere so that they won't be blocking that when they're refueling, so traffic won't be in the way.
That'll be something Quick Trip will take the design to the next level to get their building permits, and certainly I'm sure they're open to maneuvering that in a way that makes it the most efficient route.
That's the only thing. Yeah, that's the only concern that I see right is that underground fuel tank location.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
I have a quick question, Madam Chairman. Is it your business strategy to try to locate right next to another C store and a fuel store? I mean, we're stacking them up right there, and I'm a little concerned about that.
Well, our strategy had nothing to do with who was next door. It's that it's at the corner of the interstate, and that's ideal location. So that was purely actually the original occupant of part of this site was a fuel center back in the, I guess, 70s.
Yeah, I was going to say there used
Correct.
to be a fuel center there anyway.
Right.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Anyone to speak against?
No opposition.
Okay. Then, gentlemen, I need a motion or either some more discussion, whichever you prefer. Again, I think this is a situation where we've got a piece of property that's been sitting here for a long time and we've got a good user.
Madam
So,
Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve conditional use at 5129 Mercer University Drive to allow conceptual approval of a restaurant with a drive-through, self-storage facility, and plating prior to site plan approval, and final site plan approval of a C-store with fuel and alcohol package to go in a PDE district.
Very good. Go ahead. Who got the second? I did, Gary. Okay. All right. All right. We have a motion and a second to approve the conditional use at 5129 Mercer University Drive to allow conceptual approval of a restaurant with a drive-through, self-storage facility, and C-store. For site approval and a final site approval of a C-store with fuel and alcohol package to go in a PDE district at 5129 Mercer University Drive. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried.
Thank you very much. We'll do our best here. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Come back soon.
Okay, next item is number 17. This is 5271 through 5281 Arkwright Road. This is a rezoning from M2, which is heavy industrial, to A, which is agricultural, to allow for a single-family dwelling and to make the other lots legal non-conforming. Riley Wyndham is the applicant.
All right,
That's me.
Okay. You're on mute.
1 second, there's a plane going over right at the time of my meeting. So hold on 1 second. Let me hop in the truck. They have impeccable timing over the base. All right, I'm inside a truck now.
Okay, Sheila, we need you to get sworn in. Sheila, you there? Okay.
Yes.
He's ready.
All right. Do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Let me go ahead.
All right, Mr. Wyndham, tell us about your project.
Hey, so long story short, I bought this piece of property recently from Mr. Mike Avery, and he owns the neighboring property. And anyway, long story short, it's near where Plant Arkwright used to be. back a long time ago. They have since torn it down. Since I think it was torn down around 20 years ago. It was in the early 2000s. They shut the plant down in the late 1990s. So anyway, it's been just a vacant area, you know, in that area of Arkwright Road. And so the adjoining lots in question, I own 5271 Arkwright Road. The adjoining 2 lots are already have homes on them, and I guess were rezoned incorrectly back in the day when the plant was built, because there are 2 residents there. So anyway, I purchased the property with the intention of putting a single family home on it, or building a single family home. And we just want to get all 3 of those where it needs to be residential, since it's no longer used industrial in the area.
Randy, can we do that if they're not, are they on the petition?
I believe we had their signatures on there.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
they're
right.
supposed to have all 3 owners of, or the
Okay.
other 2 signatures.
All right. Okay. Anything else you want to tell us about your project?
No, that's pretty much it. If y'all need any more details, just ask. I'm here.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm about out of breath. I ran to the truck.
Okay. Anybody got any questions here? No questions? All right, then I need do we have any opposition to this?
I've had no opposition by email or phone calls. Jim, I haven't read the staff report, so I don't really know what Mike had to say on it.
There was no opposition.
Okay.
In that case, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to rezone 5271, 5273, and 5281 Arkwright Road from M2 to agricultural, to allow for a single family dwelling, and make the other 2 lots legal conforming.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the rezoning from M2 to agricultural for single family dwelling, and make the 2 other lots legal conforming at 5271, 5273, and 5281 Arkwright Road. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. Thank you very much.
Was the second
Thank you,
Gary
guys.
on that?
I'm sorry?
Who was the second on that?
Was that Gary?
No, it's
Did Gary
Brian.
make the motion to the
Brian.
second?
Brian.
Did.
I was having a hard time hearing.
Yeah, me too. Okay, next, Jim.
Next item is number 18.
Hey, am I good to get off the call now? You guys need me for anything else?
You're good.
No, you're approved and you can move forward.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
You're welcome.
See ya.
Number 18 is 5594 Houston Road. This is a conditional use to allow a convenience store with fuel sales and alcohol package to go in a C2 district. Riza Kaba is the applicant. And we have a number of folks, I believe, signed up in opposition to this.
All right. Let's see if I can find the applicant.
Hi, everyone.
I'm trying to find you. Hold on. So you are you on the phone or you have a computer?
I have a computer.
I mean, talking to me right now, are you on the computer or are you on just a phone?
I'm on the computer.
Okay. Okay, tell us, let's see, Sheila, you need to, finally found her, okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Copper,
Yes.
do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may proceed.
All right, Mr. Copper, tell us about your project.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our application is for a conditional use to allow for a C-store with fuel cells and package to go on a C2 zone property. On the property currently sits a 2,200 square feet building originally constructed as a restaurant. Our proposal is to convert the existing building into a convenience store and to add a fuel canopy with 3 fuel dispensers. There will be no changes to the footprint of the building, merely the configuration of the interior and a few changes to the exterior. The new canopy and pump islands are going to be erected beyond the 15-foot and 30-foot setbacks from the right-of-way, as denoted in the code under section titled Automobile Service Stations. It's pretty much the main requirement applicable to convenience stores with pump islands. Canopy has to be 15 feet from the right-of-way, and the pump islands 30 feet from the right-of-way. As per the staff report conditions, there will be no outside storage, sales, or displays, and we'll submit a separate zoning permit for any signage. All other department approvals will be obtained post-zoning approval. But I'm open to any questions.
All right.
Mark, could you come up to the site plan, please? No. No.
All right, so the fuel tanks in the ground are on the very side of the property to the right of the building?
Correct.
Is that right? Okay.
If you're facing the building, they're behind the canopy. There'll be 2
Okay.
gallon tanks.
All right, and then where's your dumpster?
The existing dumpsters at the far right, the
Okay,
lower-
is that it right here?
Yes, it's right there in
Okay.
an existing enclosure. So
All
we'll
right.
maintain that location for the dumpster.
Okay, okay, gentlemen, questions?
Fire's probably would have the same question for him that he had for the others about relocating the fuel storage
Yes, ma'am.
tanks.
Willie, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Randy,
Okay.
Randy couldn't have said it better.
Okay. All right, where would you propose for these tanks to go?
They can try to, for us, if they can go, what we try to do with everybody is try to have them in the same, I guess, parallel with the tanks so that there won't be any, when they refueling, we don't want those tanker trucks can't be right in front of blocking traffic.
Okay.
So they can go to the left or the right side, and as long as they're not blocking, blocking the traffic.
Okay. All right. Any questions,
We had
Jim?
some opposition for this that called, no one signed up. Mark, did you have anybody in the waiting room for them?
Unless someone speaks up, Randy, no, I don't.
Okay.
All right, then we'll ask, does anyone have any opposition to this that's online? Speaker forever hold your peace. Okay. Any other questions, gentlemen? No other questions. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve a conditional use at 5594 Houston Road to allow a C-store with fuel sales and package to go in a C2 district.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve a package store with alcohol sales at 5594 Houston Road, with the caveat that they will relocate the tanks, which will be approved by the Macon-Bibb County Fire Department. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? So carried.
Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all.
You're welcome. Next, we down to 2?
Down to 2. Next item is item 21. We should have called this earlier because it's a shook, but It's 1990 Vineville Avenue, conditional use to allow a laundromat in an HR3 district. Ashok Patel is the applicant.
Back again. Okay. Another one of those buildings that's been sitting there forever that needed something done to it. So tell us what you want to do. Ashok. You've already been sworn in, so you
Oh,
go
okay. I'm
ahead.
good to go. Okay. This is the existing building. I think DRB suggests us to do the break around the building or except the backside. And we fulfill their requirements. And it's going to be a nice building in the district, which is ISO right now.
Okay. And so this is just a laundromat.
Just a laundromat.
Just a laundromat. Okay. Gentlemen, you have questions?
Ashok, is it coin operated? Is that just like in the old traditional way?
Yes, it's a coin operated and a credit card. Nowadays they can use the credit card.
Okay.
Washing and dryer has gotten expensive then. Okay. Other questions, commissioners?
None for me.
Okay. Do I have a motion? Anybody to speak?
Madam
Again?
Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve a conditional use for 1990 Vineville Avenue to allow a laundromat in historic commercial district 1 district.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I have one more question. Ashok, you gonna remodel this building or you gonna tear it down?
Remodel it. I'm
Okay.
cutting on the front, making a smaller building, but I'm using existing building with the new face on it.
Okay. All right. So you have a
He's gone to the review board and they
Okay.
looked him over, so.
Okay. All right. We have a motion and a second to approve conditional use. Let me get to allow a laundromat in an HC district at 1990 Vineville Avenue. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, last one, Jim.
Last one is number 22. That's 4027 Pinona Avenue. This is a conditional use to allow live entertainment as a nightclub in a C4 district. Lanita Hunt with Rodeo Dom Bar and Grill as the applicant.
All right, Ms. Hunt, you need to be sworn in. Sheila?
Yes. Ms. Hunt,
Ma'am,
do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Great, thank you.
All right, tell us about your project, please, ma'am.
Okay, I currently have a bar, just a bar and grill, known for that as of now. But I wanted to add that live entertainment so far as like a couple DJs on like our weekend nights, and I also wanted to do like a band every other Saturday, and I wanted to do karaoke on Sundays. And every like maybe once a month or once every 2 months, I wanted to do like some comedy shows.
All right, and is there going to be any alterations to the building?
No alteration to the building.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, you want to ask your questions?
Is this? Are you currently operating now?
As just as a bar and grill, yes, sir.
Okay, I guess you just want to be able to do the live entertainment. What are your hours?
From normally from certain days it's from 6 to 2, but other days it's from 10 to 2.
All right. Jim, does she meet the distance requirements for residential?
He does.
Okay. Any other questions, commissioners? Willie, are you okay with this?
Question, are we using the building up, because there's two different addresses, so are we using the one on the left where they're using, where they're open on the weekends now, or y'all using the one on the right?
Are they using the one down here?
It's two different sides. One is, I'm using the smaller side.
Smaller side.
Yes, the smaller side. It's a rodeo bar and grill, and it's a rodeo event center. That the event center is the bigger side. I'm not using that.
Okay, you're not using, okay, and so you're familiar with the numbers, because you know your numbers aren't, is under 100, right? You familiar with that?
The capacity?
Right, your occupancy load is under 100.
Yes.
Okay.
My
Now,
side,
let me say this, that's under 100 without COVID. So once you go with the COVID protocol, you probably have about 50. So I'm just trying to make sure you're aware of that.
I am aware of that, sir. My building space is about 5,000 square feet for that side.
You sure?
I'm positive. I sent in the plans in order to get this meeting. I sent in the plans and everything, the size of the building and everything.
Okay. And that's it, y'all. Everything else will be enforced if non-compliant, so we good.
Okay. All right.
I
Is
have
there
a
anyone?
question.
Okay, go
So
ahead, Tim.
I'm understanding that there are two different buildings, the event center and the bar and grill.
Correct.
Okay, so what we're approving today is for the bar and grill, not the event center.
That's correct, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Well, actually, you're approving live entertainment today. The bar and grill
Yeah.
is used. It's
Say
already
what,
in
Brandon?
operation.
Couldn't hear you.
The bar and grill is already there, and what she wants to do is have live entertainment,
Live
which
entertainment.
makes it a nightclub, basically. So under a different definition, but it's the same space as the current bar and grill.
But I understand that, but the event center already have live entertainment. This is a separate issue.
No, that's a separate issue. And like over there, they book for concerts and things of that nature. That's not what my interest over there. I have nothing to do with that over there.
Oh, okay, okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions, gentlemen? Do we have any opposition? May have already asked that.
Nope.
Okay, I need a motion then, gentlemen.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve a conditional use at 4027 Pinona Avenue to allow live entertainment in a C4 district.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve live entertainment in an existing building at 4027, 4053 Pinona Avenue. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I think that's all. Can we talk about ratification items, please?
Yeah, where's the final list of what's still on for ratification? Because one of them we just heard, and I think, Jim, you said that some of them were deferred.
I did,
Yeah, 7 and 9 are deferred.
Josh, I think
11 was
on the screen.
withdrawn.
All right, yeah, okay. Mark, if you'll scroll, I'll talk.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the items for ratification, including a variance at 110 Whitman Way to allow an accessory building, a variance at 230 Baconsfield Drive, a change in setback requirement, a certificate of appropriateness at 635 and 695 Riverside Drive for design material approval for a dog park and bar, a certificate of appropriateness at 669 Arlington Place to allow minor property line change, a certificate of appropriateness at 804 Cherry Street for design approval of a new parking lot.
That was deferred. That was deferred.
Sorry, I'm just reading down the list.
Yeah.
So I need to skip 7 and 9, right?
Yes.
7
Yeah.
and 9, yes.
So,
And 11.
a conditional use at 885 Lower Poplar Street to allow manufactured home. A conditional use at 1188 Gray Highway to allow revisions
Nope,
to
nope,
previously.
nope, nope, that's withdrawn.
Okay.
Number 12.
Certificate of appropriateness at 1391 Chestnut Street for design and material approval of a new dwelling unit. A certificate of appropriateness, we already did that one. A conditional use at 5671 Calvin Drive to allow campus improvements and revision to previously approved site plan. And a certificate of appropriateness at 1990 Vinyl Avenue for demolition and design of a new building.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have ratification items, or we have a motion to approve ratification items for Whitman Way, Baconsfield Drive, Riverside Drive, Arlington Place, Lower Poplar Street, Chestnut Street, Calvin Drive, and Vineville Avenue as discussed. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. Motion to adjourn?
I have a question before we get out of here.
All right.
I won't keep you, but we have not been holding the pre-meeting because the agendas have been pretty short. We've been using ratification pretty heavily. But do y'all want to have the pre-meetings online? When we're live, we meet at 12 and we feed you lunch, and then we, have the meeting at 1:30. But do y'all want to have a pre-meeting with these Zoom meetings?
I think it depends, but on a day like today, it probably would have been helpful.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Yeah,
If we got 1 or 2 items, that's okay. But when
Okay.
we've got like the agenda we had today, we needed some.
It definitely could have used.
Yeah, okay, well, so I guess we'll just kind of play that by ear, and if we have a number of items, we can do a pre-meeting, and we'll just have to, see as we go. The problem with today, I don't know if you knew this, but the Telegraph messed up the legal ad, didn't run our legal ad for the last hearing.
Right.
So we had to cancel that, and so we added some items to this agenda, so.
Okay. Well, you
going
can check
forward,
with.
we'll have a pre-meeting when it's necessary.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
I make a quick comment, and I do apologize. And I missed it because I thought they was going to have fire department approval for number 1 for that Shalaco Lane. Is there any way that they can get fire department approval before they do that? Because I was just noticing that's a lot of lots with just one way in and one way out. And so
Yeah, that was actually already approved and recorded back in 2007, and the streets are built, really.
Right, that's why I was asking.
Yeah. All they were asking for was to change the design.
Right, I understand. That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Otherwise, we would have had you on that.
Okay.
All right. Did we adjourn?
No.
Not yet.
All right. Give me a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Oh, it's
3:48.
What?
No, she was talking about the time.
My time on my computer says 2:48. It's off by an hour.